Your father is an extremely ugly goblin, but you, this little goblin, are way too handsome. You're also mature beyond your years, and ruthless and decisive when taking action. That's because your mother is a fairy-like elf. Plus, you were a top assassin before your rebirth. When you open your eyes, you look at the beautiful, trembling woman in front of you and ask, "Are you my mom?" Before you can get a confirmation, a goblin cub born at the same time as you is lunging straight at your mother. Relying on your past life instincts, you pounce and pin him under you, ignoring his desperate struggles. You grab a nearby rock and smash it at his neck, almost the second he takes his last breath. A system voice rings in your head. Congratulations, the moment you were born. You killed one of your kind with swift, ruthless means. You've obtained the skill Evil Gluttony and 1 strength point. You ignore the system voice completely. You stroke the umbilical cord attached to your body and feel a strong sense of blood kinship. You actually break into a creepy smile. I really am your child. The beautiful woman in the corner has a look of utter despair. Since she just gave birth, she's completely unable to fight back. Right at this moment, another goblin cub sneaks up on you and suddenly launches an attack on you, almost out of pure instinct. The beautiful woman rushes over and holds you tightly in her arms and takes the hit herself. She immediately spits out a mouthful of blood. But you, who just felt the warmth of your mother's embrace, see your mom with blood trickling from the corner of her mouth. A wave of anger immediately rises in your chest. In your past life, you were a cold-blooded killing machine. The only emotion you were taught was to obey your mother. So you lift a rock without hesitation and smash it right at the goblin cub. The mysterious system voice rings again. Congratulations, you have killed a goblin cub. Based on the effect of your skill, Evil Gluttony, you've gained 1 speed point. Your ruthless, swift action shocks everyone present immediately. But right now, you only have one thought. That is to kill every goblin cub in front of you that tries to defile and harm your mother, without leaving a single one alive. After you take out 2 goblin cubs in a row, the rest of the goblin cubs finally realize what's going on and start roaring at you angrily. The nest falls into chaos in an instant, but only a cold, murderous glint flashes in your eyes. You hit precisely, over and over again, on the backs of the goblin cubs' heads. The system notifications for stat boosts never stop until you've killed 10 cubs total. You've already gotten over a dozen upgrades. You can clearly feel the changes in your body. Now you're not only stronger in every aspect, you've also gained a very powerful skill. But right at this moment, the old wooden door is pushed open, lighting up the dim room. What's going on here? 2 adult goblins walk in and see the scene. Holy crap. The room that was meant for breeding has turned into a morgue now, littered with the corpses of goblin cubs everywhere. At first they think the breeding slaves did this, until the 2 surviving goblins in the corner catch their attention. Stop! You see this and immediately move faster! Getting ready to smash another cub, the rock just hits the goblin cub's head. When your foot is grabbed by another adult goblin, you jump up to dodge him immediately and kick in midair at the same time. The rock smashes right into the goblin cub's left eye. Seeing he's still alive, you try to move forward again. This time, the adult goblin that came to stop you just pounces. You throw a handful of sand from your palm. Right after a loud thud is heard, a rock lands precisely on one adult goblin's eye. You rush over to the goblin cub quickly. Just when you're about to finish him off, the silent goblin shaman standing nearby makes his move. How dare you! The shaman waves his staff. Countless vines sprout from the ground and tie you up in midair. Where did these plants come from? Why are they moving and wrapping around me? How dare a measly little cub be so arrogant? How dare you kill your own kind? How dare you blind my eye? You see the goblin's wooden club about to fall on you. Right at this moment, the elf who had been hiding in the corner suddenly pounces out and holds you in her arms. Stop, you bastard! Why are you stopping me? He's the culprit who killed dozens of our fellow goblins. I have already notified the goblin general. This goblin's fate will be decided by the general. After hearing the general's name, no matter how angry these goblins are, they don't dare to act recklessly against you anymore. That's because the goblin general is the leader of this goblin nest. But soon the goblins shift their gaze to the elf who's holding you and put on evil grins. Even though I can't touch you right now, but I can defile your mom right in front of you. You sense someone is lusting after your mother? Rage ignites in your chest once again. You break free from the vines right away. You get close to the goblin. You dodge his attack by leaning sideways and spin hard with all your strength. You rip the goblin's arm off within 3 moves. The goblin rolls on the ground, screaming in pain. Damn little brat. Another adult goblin can't stand watching this anymore. He steps forward and raises his stone axe. Just as he's about to swing it down, a solemn voice makes him stop dead in his tracks. That's enough, General. You have to get justice for us. This kid was just born and already killed dozens of our people. We can't let him live. He got beat up by a newborn cub. And you still have the nerve to complain to me. The Goblin Shaman says. Goblin Shaman Shah nods his head and explains exactly what happened. After hearing the whole story, the General's gaze falls on you, who's standing in front of the elf to protect her. A flash of surprise crosses his sharp eyes, but he quickly hides it. Did you kill the cubs? You stand firmly in front of your mom to shield her and say nothing. You don't dare let your guard down even a little. You can tell the goblin in front of you is super powerful. So powerful that you'd have to be careful even at your full strength. Seeing you can't speak, Goblin Shaman Shah steps forward from the side and reminds the General it's normal for cubs to not be able to speak. They can only speak after outgrowing the cub stage and reaching the growth stage. That being the case, we'll wait till he can talk to handle this. Suddenly you feel a sharp dizziness in your head, and then you pass out. Luckily, your mom takes care of you, and you wake up really soon. Later, you and your mom are taken to a prison. Lots of young girls are locked up here. They're all tools the goblins use to breed offspring. But you notice that every time a girl is taken away by goblins and screams hysterically, your mom covers your ears and eyes, while she shakes and cries out of fear herself. You ask her worriedly, Mom, what's wrong? A goblin nearby hears your question and bursts out laughing. What's wrong? She's gonna be our toy, of course, as if recalling some bad memories. Your mom lets go of you, her eyes going blank and lifeless. You reach your little hand up to stroke her head, which calms her down from her near breakdown. Don't cry, Mom. Seeing this scene, the goblin outside the iron gate is really enjoying it. The more scared the prey is, the more excited he gets. You just enjoy yourself. In a couple days, your mom will be everyone's mom. You stare coldly at the leaving goblins and memorize the lead goblin in your head. He's the reason Mom is crying. If I kill that guy, Mom won't cry anymore. So when night falls, you take advantage of the goblin slacking off on guard duty. You use the skill Shadow Meld to merge into the shadows and easily escape from the cell. Since people in the prison have been taken away one by one, the security here is a lot looser now. You quickly dodge the goblin, patrols and start looking around for the goblin who humiliated your mom this morning. After taking out the patrolling goblins along the way, you finally find your target for tonight. The goblin is currently trying to assault the woman in front of him. No, please, someone, anyone, help me, please. It's no use. No one's gonna come save you even if you scream your lungs out. The goblin licks his lips and is about to enjoy himself when a blade flashes across his neck before he can touch the woman in front of him. The goblin's lewd smile freezes on his face. The next second, his head falls to the ground. Chris hasn't figured out what just happened. When she sees you standing in the corner, she thinks you're a top-tier adventurer from the Adventurers Guild, who took a quest, used a skill to disguise as a goblin to sneak in, and gather intel inside the lair you're just about to leave. When she calls out to you, "Wait a minute, boss! Can you please take me out of here?" You ignore her and turn around to leave, but you quickly turn back and snatch the dagger from her waist. You're really satisfied with this weapon. It's almost dawn. You sneak back to the cell quietly and crawl back into your mom's arms and fall into a deep sleep. You sleep until the next morning, when you're woken up by a bunch of goblins yelling, frown and look over, only to find 3 goblins standing outside the iron gate. Hey, did you kill that goblin? You are just getting up, getting ready to kill those annoying goblins outside. But your mom holds you down to stop you. The one-eyed goblin outside the iron gate sees you ignoring him and immediately flies into a rage. You little brat, how dare you ignore me? You will soon be out of your childhood period. By that time, your mom will give birth to other brothers for you. You find the one-eyed goblin too noisy, so you throw a stone right at him. It almost cuts his face open. The goblin immediately flies into a rage again. Just then, a goblin shaman comes forward to stop him. Enough, we have already investigated this matter clearly. It was done by a woman we caught yesterday. The one-eyed goblin tries to say something more, but the shaman glares at him and he shuts up. You watch the 3 goblins leave. You and your mother are safe for now. You can tell your mom doesn't like this place at all. You secretly swear to kill all the goblins and escape from here with your mom. But before you can make a move, an accident happens. This morning, a pair of goblins come to the prison, trying to take your mom away. Don't need me to spell it out. Come out, you little brat can come too. See how we have fun with your mom. The one-eyed goblin's words immediately make all other goblins roar with laughter. insults from other people don't bother you at all, but you will never allow these goblins to insult your mom. You are just about to rush forward, but your mom grabs you. Be good, wait for mom here. Mom will be back soon. Your eyes widen in anger. You want to go kill these monsters that insulted your mom? But the goblins are not scared at all. Relax. I will definitely take good care of and enjoy your mom. The goblin is too eager to taste the delicacy. Raises his hand to push your mom. Right before his hand touches her, that arm flies right off. The next second, a blood streak appears on his neck. He dies right on the spot. I won't let you take my mom away. Are you insane? You will pay for what you did. You will regret this. The old goblin mage sees this, gets ready to attack you with fire magic. But before he can cast the spell, you have already gotten on top of his head. You press his head and slam it hard on the ground, until you hear the familiar system sound. Congratulations, you have killed the old goblin. You obtain the goblin's skill fireball. Seeing this situation, all goblins freeze in place. But the one-eyed goblin suddenly looks smug. You violated the general's order and killed our own kind. Get him! Take this arrogant little brat down! The one-eyed goblin is sure he has already won, but unexpectedly you step back instead of moving forward, and then vanish into the shadows. The goblins search everywhere, but can't find even a single trace of you. Suddenly a silver light flashes by. A head flies up into the air. After that, every time you appear, another goblin dies. Gradually, the remaining goblins don't dare to step forward anymore. Just then, the system sends a special notification. Your strength has reached the upper limit of this stage. As you keep killing with your blade, all your other stats soon reach the upper limit too. But you don't pay attention to that. You just stare at the one-eyed goblin in front of you, ready to finish the final settlement. The one-eyed goblin is so scared that cold sweat runs down his face. He can only push the elf in front of you. Wait for me, Mom. This will be over soon. No, my child. Mom stops you from continuing to attack. She knows that for any race, goblins are extremely disgusting creatures. If you keep killing them, I'm afraid you will have no place to stay here anymore. But you use Shadow Step to get right in front of the one-eyed goblin. Just as you are about to strike, a dark figure suddenly appears and actually blocks your dagger. You are that weird cub that has been making a lot of noise recently. Your strength is really terrifying. When I was your age, my strength wasn't even half of yours. I'm afraid in the entire lair, only the general could match you when he was young. The one-eyed goblin sees the goblin knight. As if he has seen his savior, he rushes over and starts crying and complaining. Sir Knight, you are finally here. Look at all these fellow goblins. This guy killed all of them. But before he can finish talking, you have already pressed your dagger against his neck. At this critical moment, a silver greatsword blocks right in the middle. You want to kill someone right in front of me. The goblin knight grips his greatsword tightly and swings it with full force. The next second, you feel a terrifying force rushing toward you, and your whole body goes flying backward, slamming hard into the wall. You were just about to rush forward, but your mother stops you. Don't do it, baby. You can't beat him. The Goblin Knight is a high-tier goblin species, right under the direct knights of the Goblin General. As the top high-tier goblin species, you're way too weak to fight him right now. Besides, killing a high-tier goblin is a serious felony. There's no way you can beat me at your current strength. While I'm still in a good mood, get out of the way of that elf. Before the Goblin Knight could finish his words, you already appeared behind him with a dagger in hand, but he blocked it calmly without any effort. Sensing your power has increased, the Goblin Knight smirks slightly, and suddenly thinks of something. He continues, if you don't come kill me now, your mom will die. As soon as he finishes speaking, you launch a storm-like frenzy of attacks, which even surprises the Goblin Knight a little. Just a mere cub? How can he have such strong power already? That's really terrifying. But in front of us high-tier goblins, you're nothing but an ant. The Goblin Knight swings his sword hard, finds your weak spot, and stabs straight toward your heart. Luckily, you block it with your dagger just in time. But you still get knocked flying all the way back, almost at the same time. A flash of blade light glints from your hand. The one-eyed goblin that was watching the fun the whole time suddenly has his head chopped off. Only then does the Goblin Knight realize he's been tricked. You killed a goblin right under his nose. Right at this moment, a terrifying power surge comes from inside your body, affected by the effect of your special talent, King. Your growth path has shifted slightly. With a loud bang, bolts of lightning surround your body, zipping around wildly like spirit snakes. An amazing change takes place. You not only grow 40 centimeters taller instantly, your body also becomes more sleek and well-built. Standing tall and proud, You look exactly like a high-tier goblin. Goblin Knight, kill this little brat! One goblin starts shouting and others join in, all yelling for you to be killed. After hearing what the other goblins said, the Goblin Knight waves his hand to stop everyone. Not bad, this is definitely not a low-tier goblin. As soon as he finishes speaking, a figure moves like a ghost and appears out of nowhere. To the shock of all the surrounding goblins, it sends the high-tier Goblin Knight flying straight away, slamming hard into the cave wall. You get ready to land a fatal blow on him, aiming straight for the Goblin Knight's neck. But right when your dagger is about to touch the target, an invisible force suddenly appears, followed by a deeply authoritative voice. What is going on here? You lift your head and see a burly figure walking out from the depths of the nest. The person is none other than the Goblin General, the absolute strongest in this nest. Lord General, you don't know, this evil little cub has killed so many of our comrades. He's simply a devil. The low-tier goblins all complain loudly in a mess, hoping the general will kill you with his power. But the general just waves his hand, signaling everyone to shut up. Almost at the same time, a small figure appears from behind him. After you notice a small weak spot on the Goblin General, you don't hesitate at all, and rush up quickly to launch a sneak attack, slashing straight toward the Goblin General's neck. But right when the blade is about to touch the target, an invisible force suddenly emerges, sending you flying backward violently. All the goblins only react at this point. How dare you try to assassinate Lord General? The goblins all have vicious looks on their faces and surround you completely. The general nearby stops this confrontation and tells the goblin shaman next to him, "Take them away." The goblin shaman leads the way for you, but you stay alert and shield your mom behind you. "Relax, we won't hurt you. Ma'am, please come with me." Accompanied by your mother, you go from the 5th basement floor to a cozy cave on the 2nd basement floor to live. Before leaving, the goblin shaman asks for your name. You blurt out the name Lin Ching Feng immediately. From now on, you have outgrown your infancy period, and you need to go out to contribute to the nest. If you go out for patrol or hunting, you can bring lots of nice things back for your mom. You don't listen to a single word of these boring principles. But when you heard you could bring nice things back to mom, you got interested right away. You asked seriously for real. Then tricked by the goblin shaman, you were assigned to the patrol team. You joined the team and started fighting the next day. The old goblin pointed at a pile of scrap weapons and yelled at the goblins in front of him. "All of you, from here, pick the weapons you like and feel comfortable using." Everyone stepped forward to pick the bigger weapons. Only you held a dagger in one hand and kept the other hand empty. The old goblin reminded you, those humans out there are super tricky, but you said that was enough for you. Soon, you followed the team to a patch of thick grass. One of the goblins picked up a telescope and stared closely at the humans not far away. Before even starting the fight, he had already made up his mind about what to do with the loot. Later, kill all the males, got it. Keep the females, kill them after we're done having fun. Mang, a goblin in the team, saw you staying silent and decided to get back at you for his buddy. He deliberately proposed right in front of you. "After we get back this time, let's go have some fun with elves. What do you think?" Hearing the word elves, the other goblins had lewd grins on their faces, but none of them knew where the elves were. Then Mang deliberately looked at you. "Ain't there an elf in your cave? Why don't you invite the brothers over to have a good time?" For a moment, all the goblins stared at you with envious, greedy eyes, just as Mang thought you'd get mad and attack him, giving him an excuse to kill you. He never expected you'd just raise your knife and strike, killing the greedy goblin right in front of you. Mang was overjoyed. He immediately put on a self-righteous look and accused you, "Killing a companion is a serious crime. How could you do that? I'm sending you down to find other elves." Mang didn't expect you to be so arrogant and not take him seriously at all. Before he could finish his harsh words, you moved quickly and stabbed a dagger straight into his heart. He gave an order. All the goblins responded right away, but you killed every goblin that came at you and took down 2 when they came in pairs. You were super agile and reacted fast. Soon all the goblins fell to the ground. Seeing this, Mang finally got scared. He knelt on the ground and kept apologizing, saying he knew he was wrong. He waited a long time but got no response from you, and thought he'd gotten away with it. He was already planning to ask the general to get back at you when he got back. The next second, he felt a cold sensation on the top of his head, and his whole body was split in 2. After killing a ton of goblins, you suddenly heard continuous footsteps. Getting closer, you realized a group of adventurers was coming. You were a top assassin in your past life, but you reincarnated as the most handsome goblin. Your peers were jealous of how good-looking you were, so they deliberately ostracized and messed with you, which made you unable to hold back your anger. You beat up the other goblins on the same mission directly. You were just about to take a break when you heard adventurers coming this way. After a while, the adventurer team reached your location. They all looked in shock at you standing on a pile of goblin corpses. What happened here? What are you scared of? It's just a goblin, no big deal. Look, the green ears on those goblin corpses are still there. These are all worth money. Saying that, the leading man lunged at you with a greedy look on his face, ready to land a fatal blow on you. But the second the blade touched you, your whole body suddenly turned as black as ink and merged into the forest's shadows. Before he could react, you appeared right behind him, holding a black dagger to his neck. Suddenly, a voice came from behind. Holy shield, fireball! A final barrier wrapped around Keto. Right after that, a flame shot towards you. You quickly stepped on Keto's back and leaped into the air. You dodged the fireball with a backflip and landed steadily far away, putting some distance between you and them. Then you merged into the shadows again. The team started searching everywhere for you. The mage was about to cast a detection spell to find where you were. You slashed the magic girl directly. The next second, the girl fell to the ground. Right after that, the priest saw a dark shadow approaching. You stabbed him twice quickly and he died instantly. Before he died, he shouted at his companions with all his might, "Run!" The remaining adventurers originally wanted to avenge their two companions, but in the blink of an eye, their captain also fell to the ground. Seeing this, the last adventurer ran madly towards the outside of the forest, but you didn't let him get away and slit his throat with a precise slash. Just then, the familiar system voice beeped, "Congratulations! You've killed a human. You've obtained physical enhancement." You stare at the corpse on the ground. You don't feel a thing at all. After looting all the spoils of war, you plan to take all this stuff back to Mom. You soon arrive at the goblin tribe, seeing you carrying a huge bag all by yourself. The other goblins all give you weird looks. They think you got shunned by the other teammates. Just then, a goblin deliberately leads a female slave and rams into you. Normally, you'd beat the crap out of him right away, but right now your hands are full. You ignore the other jeering goblins and walk right past them, right as you're about to enter the nest. An old goblin chief named Dong stops you. "Hey, you that goblin!" You originally planned to pretend you didn't hear him, but the goblin guards at the gate stop you and remind you. You have to frown and turn around. Goblin Chief Dong, who called you, has already run up to you. "I was just calling you. Why didn't you stop?" "I called you, did you not hear me? I didn't hear any goblin call my name." Goblin Chief Dong trembles with rage. He's just about to lift his crutch when he senses a terrifying aura. If he moves even a little, his head will roll off. He also faintly feels a kind of suppression from a high-rank goblin. Seeing Goblin Chief Dong stay quiet for ages, you also get impatient. "If there's nothing else, I'll head out first." "Wait, you have to hand over part of your spoils." Goblin Chief Dong points at the bag on your back. You frown immediately upon hearing that. Your grip tightens even more. "These are mine." "What do you mean yours? Spoils belong to the nest, and to the team. How could they belong to you alone?" The surrounding goblins all start jeering along. Goblin Chief Dong also takes a deep breath. "I'm warning you, you know the rules. All spoils brought back by goblins here have to hand over half. No exceptions for anyone. Also, where are the other goblins that went out with you?" Goblin Chief Dong, who was just being cocky a second ago, his face freezes when he hears that. Everyone looks at you, completely unharmed in confusion. If they ran into some strong opponent, the whole squad getting wiped out makes sense. But how come you're the only one who came back? Just then, Goblin Chief Dong asks tentatively, "How did they die? How did you survive?" "I'm stronger than them." "Want to test that?" Catching the hidden meaning in your words, Goblin Chief Dong shakes with anger. He then shouts, "You're way too arrogant. I'm definitely reporting this later to Lord Goblin General and get you punished. You must have colluded with humans. Otherwise, how would only you make it back alive? You can't be bothered arguing with them." You turn around to leave, but Goblin Chief Dong brings people over to stop you. "You wait here, or come with me to see the Goblin General. You already have your hand on your dagger, ready to strike at any moment. Enough is enough." Seeing this goblin stop you again and again, you can't hold it in anymore. You pull out your dagger and yell, "Then die," seeing you walk closer step by step. Goblin Chief Dong panics. He immediately yells at the low-rank goblins behind him, "Take this little brat down for me." The crowd of goblins reacts, getting ready to surround you. You immediately pull out your dagger to fight back. Suddenly, a sharp voice rings out, "Stop, everyone! I'll handle this." Before Goblin Chief Dong can snitch, the shaman cuts him off directly. He says directly to you, "All right, you can go back now." You don't ask any more questions. Nod and leave happily with your bag. You return to the damp, dark room on the second basement floor. Victoria looks at the blood-stained bag in your hand. Stunned, she asks shakily, "Did you kill people?" You nod without hesitation, "Yeah." Qingfeng killed them. Killed so many people. Aren't I awesome? You lift up the blood-stained dagger in your hand as you speak, hoping to get praise from your mom, but unexpectedly your mom swats your hand away. "Don't touch me." You don't understand what you did to make mom upset. But seeing mom stare at the bag the whole time, you dump all the spoils out at once. You say proudly, "All these are for mom? Take whatever you like, mom." Her heart aches a little, and she feels a tinge of sadness, until he spotted a pocket watch with a photo embedded in it. It had "Happy Birthday" written on the surface. He broke down completely right away. You panicked immediately when you saw this. You ran to your mom and wiped tears off her face. Victoria choked up and asked why they were reporting them. Because they planned to report Qingfeng. "Wait, someone's gonna kill you. Are you okay?" Victoria's tone turned anxious right away. She hugged you and checked you over carefully. "No, I'm super strong. Mom, you don't want Qingfeng to hurt people anymore, right? If mom tells you not to kill people, will you listen to me?" "Of course, if mom says no killing, I won't kill anyone." "Then what if those people try to hurt you? It's fine, I can run away. I'm super good at hide and seek." Looking at you who still knew nothing about the world, Victoria realized the importance of education for the first time. She was silent for a moment, then told you seriously, "Mom doesn't want you to kill people randomly, but if someone tries to kill you, I won't stop you from fighting back. I just hope you can give them a chance first." You nodded seriously after hearing that. Victoria broke into a relieved smile. Early the next morning, after you finished breakfast, you got ready to head out for the mission as usual. Today you were assigned to a scouting team again. Unlike yesterday's taunts and jeers, no one mocked you this time. From the conversations of the goblins around you, you had already mapped out the floor plan of this huge lair in your head, ready for the day in the future, when you wipe out all these goblins and escape with your mom. Right now, on the outskirts of Shenyun Forest, a group of adventurers were carefully walking through the thick bushes. Just then, a bunch of goblins suddenly jumped down from the trees. It was exactly your team. When they spotted the goblins, everyone grabbed their weapons and started fighting with the goblins, but you just stayed up in the tree watching until both sides were badly injured and worn out. You suddenly made your move and finished off the remaining humans and goblins. After that, you gained 2 more talents. One was the goblin's beast intuition. The other was human perception. Right now, you sensed that there was still one human alive on the ground. You were going to finish him off with 1 stab, but you suddenly remembered what your mom said, so you put away your dagger, turned around and headed back to the goblin cave. Little did you know that you returning alone every time had already made other goblins unhappy. You reincarnated as the most handsome goblin in the lair. Shortly after you were born, you already made it into the mid-rank goblin team with your strength. Just now, your group went out hunting again, and for some reason, you were the only one who came back again this time. This immediately made the other goblins resentful. Right now, an armored goblin walked over slowly. "I'm Knight Lee. Come with me. The general wants to see you." The goblins nearby started whispering immediately. They gossiped gleefully, figuring you were too cocky. Even the general wanted to interrogate you himself. But facing the goblin knight's call, you just turned your head and glanced at him, then turned around and left straight away. In your eyes, nothing is more important than going back to see your mom. "You little brat! How dare you ignore me and ignore the general's order?" The furious goblin knight charged at you violently, ready to grab you and take you to the general directly. But you didn't even turn around and caught his attack bare-handed. This shocked Knight Lee the goblin greatly. The goblin knight struggled with all his might, trying to pull his hand back, but you held it tightly, so he couldn't pull it out at all. So he roared and swung his other hand at you. You just raised your eyebrows slightly, then threw him flying away directly. All the goblins present were stunned by this. The next second, Goblin Knight Lee got up and roared at you, humiliated in public. He didn't care about the general's order anymore. All he wanted was to tear you into pieces. But just as he charged at you again, a deep, solemn voice suddenly rang out. "Stand down, all of you." Hearing this voice, Goblin Knight Lee stopped abruptly, mid-step, and you also turned to look towards the voice. You saw a huge, muscular goblin walking out slowly. It was the goblin general. He carried an invisible sense of oppression, so none of the goblins dared to look him in the eye. The next second, all goblins hurried to salute the general. The goblin general slowly walked up to you and looked you up and down. You tensed your muscles, ready to attack at any moment. But the goblin general just stared for a moment before turning around. "Follow me," he said, and the goblin general walked off on his own. Seeing you staying still and not following, he stopped again and added, "If you don't want your mom to die, you better do as I say." Those words hit you like a bombshell. You vanished instantly. The next second, you already held your dagger, pointed at the goblin general's heart, but the dagger only stopped right at his heart and couldn't go in any further. You know, this was the perfect chance you worked so hard to get. But the goblin general didn't even glance at you. He just caught your dagger between two fingers. Not bad. In such a short time, your power has improved that fast. Do you believe I'll kill you? If you can do that, go ahead and try. But can you really pull it off? With that, the goblin general flicked his finger. But even that tiny little force from his fingertip sent you flying backwards. You rolled on the ground several times before you managed to get up. Right then, the general's voice sounded again. "If you don't want anything to happen to your mom, you better follow me obediently." This time, you didn't hesitate and followed. You went all the way up to the top floor of the large goblin lair. On the stairs leading to the castle, you saw flowers blooming everywhere around you, and you couldn't help but think, if Mom were here, she'd definitely love this place. Out of curiosity, you squatted down to pick one flower. The goblin general next to you frowned when he saw this. When he saw you about to pick a second one, the goblin general finally couldn't hold back and spoke. "Enough, these things don't belong to me. Someone else planted them." But you acted like you didn't hear him. You kept picking flower after flower until the goblin general couldn't take it anymore. He smacked you right on the head. Only then did you stop. You already had a big bump on your head by now. I told you not to pick them. You held your head super annoyed. If you could beat him, you would have fought back long ago. Seeing how much you like flowers, the goblin general suddenly suggested, "If you want to take those flowers with you, try to land a hit on me." He crossed his arms and looked at you seriously after saying that. "No way! You're way stronger than me." "How so you do get scared sometimes?" "I just don't fight battles I know I'll lose." Just then, one of the goblin knights who picked on you before came running out. The goblin general had a sudden idea and suddenly pointed at the goblin knight. "Beating him works too." "General, sir, this doesn't feel right. Isn't this just bullying a goblin?" Even though he said that, his eyes were sparkling with excitement. He'd wanted to teach you a lesson for ages. "You arrogant little brat." If the general wasn't here, he would have attacked you long ago. Right now, a strange glint flashed in the goblin general's eyes. Then a status panel appeared in front of him. It recorded the stats of Goblin Knight Lee and your overall power. Unlike Goblin Knight Lee's normal stats, your stats, compared to goblins who just reached the growth stage, are extremely abnormal. Every time he goes out, this kid's stats go up. How interesting. Normal creatures need to train for a long time to increase their power on the status panel. This kid actually did it in just a few days. What takes other people years to achieve? To test your strength, the Goblin General told you in Goblin Knight Lee to have a fight. He had just announced the start when Goblin Knight Lee charged right at you. You didn't panic at all. You just took a step back, dodging his slash. Then you raised your hand and threw a huge fireball at Goblin Knight Lee. But the fireball hit perfectly on the Goblin Knight's armor and only left a faint scratch. It didn't affect Goblin Knight Lee at all. It's useless. Goblin Knight armor can block most magic attacks. Goblin Knight Lee, nicknamed Flame Bully, grinned and swung his blade at you again. You did block the attack with your dagger, but the force from his strike sends you flying right back. While you're flying through the air, Goblin Knight Lee jumps straight up, ready to finish you off right there. But the next second, a fireball slams right into his face. The fireball doesn't hurt him at all, but he can sense a hint of danger, so he stops his attack immediately and leans to the side. That's why he narrowly dodges the dagger flying right behind the fireball. He's terrified just thinking about what could have happened. If he hadn't dodged right in time, he'd be dead meat for sure. I just let my guard down earlier. Won't happen again this time. But before Goblin Knight Lee can finish talking, he notices you're gone. He's instantly shocked and starts looking around for you. The Goblin General standing nearby narrows his eyes. He saw exactly what happened. You used the blind spot to move fast, so you could hide yourself. That skill isn't something you pick up overnight, but you're only a newborn. This makes no sense at all. The Goblin General frowns immediately. He can't figure out why this is happening no matter what. Meanwhile, the fight is still going on. Goblin Knight Lee can sense the danger, but he can't find you anywhere. It's driving him crazy. He roars angrily. What kind of coward hides all the time? Come out and fight me one-on-one if you dare. The next second, you appear right behind Goblin Knight Lee. By the time Goblin Knight Lee notices you, it's already too late. The dagger is just about to sink into Goblin Knight Lee's body. The Goblin General steps in. He appears right in front of you in a flash, then uses only one hand to easily block your attack. All right, that's enough. The Goblin General stops the fight. Goblin Knight Lee shoves you away right away. He roars at you, just you wait. I'll make you pay for this. You ignore his threats and look at the Goblin General. He's still alive. Do you really want to stop me? Goblin Knight Lee flies into a rage instantly. He's just about to curse you out when he notices you've disappeared again. You show up behind him the next second and leave a shallow cut on his neck. Goblin Knight Lee feels totally humiliated and yells that he's gonna beat you up. But the Goblin General yells at him to stand down. Goblin Knight Lee doesn't dare disobey the General, so he just glares at you viciously. He doesn't notice that the blood oozing from his neck seems to have something mixed in it. Once Goblin Knight Lee walks far away, the General speaks slowly. Why didn't you stop? Were you trying to kill him? Why would I stop? What's wrong with killing him? Aren't fights only over when one guy's dead? Is this how you survive? What's surviving supposed to mean? All I know is if I want to stay alive, then I have to kill everyone who's a threat to me. Hearing words that don't match someone your age, the Goblin General sighs heavily, then waves his hand. You can go now. Take the flowers you picked with you. After you leave, you have to come back here every day. I'll teach you combat skills. Fighting's easy. I'm already good at it. What you know is assassination skills, not combat skills. Besides, your assassination technique is way too risky. You're giving up all your defense entirely. Who taught you this anyway? They don't care if you die at all. Mom taught me, but you don't explain further. It's the woman you called Mom in your past life. The Goblin General narrows his eyes slightly. You gonna come here in the future. You have to come no matter what. You hate hanging around this big guy. You just want to go back to your mom. So you argue stubbornly. What makes you say I can't fight? 'Cause I'm stronger than you. Then let's fight and see. Half an hour later, you're lying on the ground out of breath and yell at the Goblin General viciously. I'll definitely beat you one day. If you can actually do that, feel free to try. Whenever you feel like it. I'll be ready. But before that, get stronger by any means necessary. With that, the Goblin General walks away without looking back. You rest on the ground for a while and are just about to stand up when your legs suddenly give out and you fall back to the ground. The earlier fight used up all your energy. But if you don't hurry back, Mom will be worried. At that thought, you force your worn-out body to stand up again. But your feet give out under you, and you fall forward. This time you land entirely on something soft. The fragrance you catch now is different from Mom's. You should rest obediently when you're hurt. Xiaoden is really too much. How could he be so harsh to a little kid? If this were on the human side, that's child abuse. Who are you, miss? My name is Elena. I'm Xiao Tian's wife. Then she touched the scar on her face. Sorry about that. Do I look really ugly? Did I scare you? Are you really ugly, miss? Something suddenly crosses your mind. You struggle to sit up from Elena's arms. I have to go now. My mom is still waiting for me. I can't stay. You're still injured right now. Let me patch you up first, then you can go. Okay. Will that take long? You see Elena shake her head. You hesitate for a second, then decide to trust her. You watch Elena take some medicine out of her ring. You sniff the scent coming off it. It's not poison? For some reason, even for this woman you met for the first time, you have a weird feeling. While Elena is treating your wounds, she explains to you healing magic usually uses life force to speed up cell metabolism. All magic comes with a price. Using healing magic in battle is a last resort. But if you have time after a fight, and your injuries aren't serious, it's better to use medicine and let your body heal on its own. You nod blankly, half understanding what she said, which makes Elena laugh out loud. When you leave the Goblin General's castle, it's already late at night. When you pass the nest entrance downstairs, Goblin Changdong suddenly calls out to you. You haven't taken your stuff yet. I'll throw it away if you don't want it. With that, Goblin Changdong kicks the bag at his feet. It's full of the loot you collected today. You pick up the bag and go trade with other goblins. Just as you're about to walk into the nest, a sparrow goblin that was hiding in the dark runs out. He just tries to catch up to you. when he stopped by the patrolling goblins. Where did you even come from, you weird goblin? But he doesn't seem to know how to speak yet. He struggles, trying to follow you. You noticed he was there a long time ago. You ignore him and exchange a few goblin shells on your own and buy some fruit and food to take back to Mom. You even find a few buckets of instant noodles among them, since goblins don't know how to eat this stuff. It's pretty cheap. You just grab a few buckets. You ignore the little goblin stopped by patrolling goblins behind you and walk straight through the iron gate to the second floor nest. You push the door open and smell a familiar scent. You yell out, "Mom, I'm home." As soon as you finish speaking, Victoria runs out from the back of the room. When she sees you're covered in injuries, Mom panics and starts checking your wounds. So you tell Mom everything that happened today. Although you don't know what the Goblin General's goal is for training you, you can at least confirm the Goblin General doesn't mean you any harm. Meanwhile, in the tavern of the Goblin Nest, Goblin Knight Lee is bragging about how he taught you a lesson, when he suddenly sputters and spits out black blood. He then loses consciousness completely and falls to the ground, and you hear the familiar system sound in your ear. Congratulations on defeating Goblin Knight Lee. Obtained Wild Instinct. Obtained 1 special evolution point. Soon, thanks to your outstanding performance these days, you get a bunch of generous rewards. You don't need to go to that shabby armory anymore to pick your equipment. Looking at the well-stocked armory in front of you, your eyes are dazzled by all the options, until your gaze lands on the black powder in the corner. You feel a surge of joy in your heart. This is such a rare treasure. If you get enough black powder, would you be able to get rid of that so-called Goblin General? For good, you silently jot down its location and plan to come back for it later. Then you continue checking the other weapons. Your gaze now falls on a bow and arrow. It looks ancient, but the bow body is super tough, and the arrows are sharp. You're really satisfied with it. After all, for assassinations, stealth and accuracy are the most important things. Right at this moment, you hear the characteristic cry of a goblin, so you turn around to look at today's new teammates and see a goblin missing an ear, standing there in a daze. Just then, another goblin holding a magic staff runs over. "Hello, Lord Qingfeng. I'm your teammate for this mission." The name's Goblin Cheyenne. With that, Goblin Cheyenne extends his hand, but you just glance at him coldly. Your gaze falls on Goblin Changdong, who's walking slowly over. "All right, once you get your weapons, follow me. I'm the high-rank goblin leading you this time, and also your team captain. My name is Goblin Changdong. You should feel honored about that. Today I'll show you what the real world is like. Our goblin soldiers." But before Goblin Changdong can finish speaking, he's interrupted by a huge-sized goblin. "I just want to kill people." Looking at the dumb big guy in front of him, Goblin Changdong chuckles softly. "That's a real shame. Our mission this time isn't about killing people. If you don't follow orders, you can leave." As soon as Goblin Changdong says that, the big goblin doesn't hesitate at all, turns around and is about to leave. But unexpectedly, Goblin Changdong's next words freeze him on the spot. "If you don't follow my orders, then leave the Great Goblin Nest. This is the Goblin General's order." On normal days, Goblin Changdong wouldn't even bother with these low-rank goblins. But since this is the Goblin General's order, he has to follow it. Everyone follows Goblin Changdong and arrives at a medium-sized goblin nest. This place is different from the Great Goblin Nest. As soon as you step inside, you can feel the hot air blowing right at you. Then you see a goblin actually forging weapons. This is the Goblin Armory, the place responsible for weapon manufacturing. Almost all weapons are produced here. But your eyes are drawn to a group of newly captured women. One of them looks extremely familiar. The big goblin in the team sees this scene and falls into thought, why are we wasting our precious resources on these seemingly useless things? Grabbing weapons from adventurers isn't faster and more convenient. In our great nest, we already have so many weapons looted from adventurers. Why are we putting so much effort into making these? The big goblin is very confused. If we have this energy, we might as well kill a few more humans and drive humans out of this forest. Hearing this, Goblin Changdong shakes his head. The general says we can't always rely on others. Only by mastering weapon manufacturing technology can our goblin race truly become an independent clan and no longer be controlled by others. Is Lord General trying to get us to get rid of our reliance on adventurers' weapons? Besides, most of the weapons we grab from adventurers are made to fit humans. They don't suit us at all. The Goblin General wants to create weapons exclusive to us. Goblin Changdong doesn't refute that. Goblin Changdong thinks to himself, after all, this guy was named personally by the Goblin General and was selected to join this team later. He must be no ordinary guy. Right at this moment, a hearty laugh suddenly comes from inside the cave. A tall, sturdy goblin, holding a huge hammer, walks over slowly. You got half of it right? Hello, everyone. I'm Goblin Chewy, the head of the armory. You can just call me Brother Chue. Looking at the weird ragtag team in front of him, the corners of Goblin Chewy's mouth lift up, and he smiles slightly. Suddenly forming such an interesting team, I wonder what the Goblin General is up to. Goblin Chewy is just about to invite you all to rest in the rooms first. Suddenly, everyone is drawn to a scream coming from the entrance. It turns out to be a group of women captured by goblins and brought to the nest. They are tied up together, their eyes filled with fear and despair. One familiar figure catches your attention. It's the woman who gave you the dagger. Chris, what is she doing here? Right at this moment, Quer, Goblin suddenly yells loudly and charges at the goblin holding the rope. Bayashui, are you trying to steal our loot? How dare you? What guts you have. Seeing this, the goblin holding the rope doesn't hold back at all and kicks Quer Goblin right in the stomach. Quer Goblin is sent flying entirely by the kick. Fell to the ground. Saw him struggling to get up. That guy was about to step on his head again. Stop it. Even if you beat a dog, you gotta consider its owner first, yeah. If you hurt the people I brought here, how am I ever gonna save face? Don't pounce on every woman you see from now on. If you want some, go catch them outside. These are our spoils of war. We get to enjoy them first. That's our right. Or you can wait till we're done having fun with them. A group of goblins laughed and got ready to leave, but Sparrow Goblin struggled to get back up. Grabbed the low-rank goblin's hand, seeing the little goblin try again and again to steal what belonged to them. The low-rank goblin got furious, slapped him hard across the face, but Sparrow Goblin still held onto him tightly and wouldn't let go. Goblin Chief Dong was just about to mediate the conflict when the other guy warned him, "Open your eyes and see clearly. This idiot's the one trying to steal our stuff." His Excellency, the General, said, "Private property is sacred above all else. Even if I kill him right now, you won't get in any trouble for it." Then the rest of the low-rank goblins stepped forward one after another and started punching and kicking Sparrow Goblin. He was already beaten black and blue, but he still tried to turn around and comfort those girls. But because of Goblin's ugly skin, he looked even more disgusting right then. A low-rank goblin saw he still wouldn't back down and swung his long knife up. He was just about to bring the blade down when Sparrow Goblin actually gave a faint, relieved smile, but the expected strike never came. A big, strong hand blocked it in front of him. "Little goblin, you're weak, but you've got some rare, real guts. Let go right now, you stupid idiot. How dare you point a knife at your own comrade? If you've got energy for this crap, you'd better go kill more humans. Who the hell are you anyway? What makes you think you can lecture me? Boys, get him." The low-rank goblin roared and charged at the big goblin, but the big goblin just threw a light punch, and the low-rank goblin went flying and landed hard on the ground. When the other goblins saw this, they all swallowed nervously. "You can't do this. This guy broke the rules. He tried to steal our stuff. So what? Just give him one of the women, problem solved. You've got plenty of them anyway." The low-rank goblin tried to say something else, but the big goblin glared at him so hard he shut up. So after the big goblin's friendly negotiation, they got a little girl around 13 or 14 years old. But just as those low-rank goblins were about to leave, the silent apprentice of Goblin Hammer, who'd been standing off to the side, Goblin Iron, spoke up. "Can't you see how many guys they have? Leaving just one woman is nowhere near enough." The low-rank goblin didn't dare pick a fight with Goblin Iron, so he left 4 more women behind. Goblin Chief Dong pulled the woman into his arms right away and followed Goblin Iron into the room. Sparrow Goblin, who was lying on the ground, looked up at the ceiling and couldn't stop the tears from falling. Just then, a timid voice interrupted his thoughts. A teenage girl came over to him, trying to comfort him. Sparrow Goblin got up from the ground, but his legs gave out right away. Luckily, the big goblin caught him and carefully helped him walk. "I don't understand what you're saying, but you're really weird, you know that. You don't even speak goblin language." Looking at this straightforward big goblin, Sparrow Goblin couldn't help but relax a little. Looks like there are good and bad goblins after all. Then his gaze fell on the woman next to the big goblin. "What, one's not enough for you? You want this one too?" Sparrow Goblin froze for a few seconds, which made the big goblin think he didn't want her. But the next second, the big goblin raised his knife straight at the woman and brought it down. When Sparrow Goblin saw this, his eyes went wide, filled with terror and rage. But the big goblin didn't care at all, muttered with disgust on his face, "How disgusting! I don't get those other goblins. Why do they even catch these humans and bring them back? We should just kill all of them. Kill. All the humans that try to invade our goblin territory. Kill every last one of them. Right. As he said that, the big goblin tried to put one hand on Sparrow Goblin's shoulder. But Sparrow Goblin brushed him off angrily and roared at him furiously. Oh, so you do want her? Why didn't you say so earlier? It's no big deal anyway. Geir. The goblin saw there was no reasoning with this big goblin. He dragged the dazed girl along and turned around to walk into his own room. On the other side, Goblin Tai pointed at the room marked 01 and told you this is your room. You nodded and walked inside. A woman in a long dress was standing shakily at the door. She had her head down. You just glanced at her casually. Without the slightest hesitation, you slammed the door shut right away. Vidona stood in front of the door, looking totally dumbfounded. Could she actually escape now? With that thought, Vidona quietly left the doorway and headed for the entrance of the lair. She got really lucky the whole way. She didn't run into any goblins. But right at that moment, a miserable scream came from not far away. It was her companion who came with her, one of the women who was taken away by those low-level goblins. She snuck a peek over and froze solid on the spot. There were several brutally mangled corpses in the room. The only person left alive in there was her good friend, who was being assaulted and humiliated by a few goblins. Just then, her friend seemed to spot something. Her eyes went wide. She stared right at the door and tried to scream, but something was stuffed in her mouth, so she couldn't make a sound at all. But the commotion still caught the goblin's attention. When Vidona saw the goblins looking her way, she immediately turned and ran as fast as she could. But suddenly a pair of hands reached out from behind her and clamped around her neck. She was lifted off the ground in an instant. Even though goblins are naturally wild and unrestrained, you're not as lustful as they are. After intentionally letting the woman assigned to serve you leave, you slowly opened your eyes and spoke to the empty room. Come out, the next second. Chris walked out from the corner with a big grin. Haha, I really can't hide anything from you, boss. To be honest with you, boss, I'm here to sabotage this place. I was wondering if you have any intel, like maps or stuff like that. Oh, that'd be perfect, of course. If you're willing to help me out, boss, I'll give you half of my mission reward. All yours. You've been living in the goblin lair since you were born. In your past life, you were just an assassin who kept risking his life for his mother. You have no idea what a mission reward even is. Seeing you frown in confusion. Chris thought you weren't happy with the split. How about 60-40? You get 60, I get 40. 70-30, that's the highest I can go. 80-20, I really can't go lower than that. Chris was so frustrated he could almost cry. He had no idea you didn't even understand what he was talking about. You just opened your mouth to speak, when Chris thought you already agreed, and immediately shared his mission details with you. My mission is to get the map of this place. If I can also investigate the defensive forces and the garrison situation here, that's even better. The mission reward is 1,000 gold coins, you know. For context, 3 gold coins is already an average person's monthly income, and he can get such a huge reward just by drawing the map. That's such a good deal. Of course, the mission difficulty is super high too. As everyone knows, goblins are a bunch of monsters that love rushing recklessly into all kinds of things. But you have no clue what 1,000 gold coins are even good for. You think it's far less practical than issue 15. You set your sights on the ring on Chris's hand, because you can feel a faint mysterious aura from the ring. It's very similar to the mysterious power inside your body. Noticing where you're looking, Chris quickly grabbed the ring on his hand. No, you can't have this. This is a super precious space ring that can store up to 3 cubic meters of stuff. It's worth over 1,000 gold coins out there. You stared at him blankly and said nothing. Just your stare was already putting Chris under huge pressure. He was terrified you'd kill him if you got mad. In the end, Chris had no choice but to take off the ring and hand it to you. You took the ring and looked at it curiously. When you injected magic power into it, you could take and put items in it whenever you wanted. You had so much fun playing with it for a while. Just then, there was a knock on the door. You and Chris exchanged a glance. He immediately activated his skill and hid himself completely. Hey, Qingfeng, you asleep? You gripped your dagger and opened the door. Goblin Tai and Vidona were standing at the door. Goblin Tai shoved Vidona forward. I caught your slave and brought her back. I don't have a slave. Goblin Tai's expression shifted slightly. So that means this woman really was kicked out. I didn't expect that. There are goblins who aren't into women either. Right. When you were about to close the door to see the guest off, you suddenly felt someone grab your wrist. You looked up and saw Victoria's tear-streaked face. No, don't. Please save me. Victoria was sobbing. She knew full well what would happen if Goblin Tai took her back. Faced with Victoria's plea for help, you let go of her indifferently. Seeing this, she yelled in a hurry, "No matter what you ask me to do in the future, I'll do it, just don't." Hearing your firm refusal, Victoria completely lost the will to live. As she was taken away, she mumbled to herself, "I should have never taken that elf's quest." Hearing the woman mention a familiar elf, you hesitated for a second and quickly said to Goblin Tai, "Wait, I want her." Before Goblin Tai could react, you pulled Victoria straight into the room. Goblin Tai wanted to say something, but he just shook his head helplessly and turned to leave. Victoria, who had luckily been allowed to stay, stared at you in shock. She never expected you'd change your mind last minute. Seeing you keep staring at her, she slowly started taking off her clothes. "It's my first time, so please be gentle." You looked confused at this moment. You let her in. Only because she mentioned the elf just now. It so happens that your mom is also an elf. Seeing Victoria had only her underwear left. Chris, who was hiding in the dark, finally couldn't hold back and spoke up. Right now, Chris was covering his eyes, looking super shy, and kindly reminded Victoria, "Wait a minute. If you two are going to practice kiting, wait till I leave first, okay?" After saying that, Chris used stealth and disappeared right away. Then you slowly started speaking too. "What's that about you taking a quest from an elf just now?" Hearing what you said, Victoria suddenly realized what was going on. "Turns out the big boss kept me because he's interested in this," and quickly told you the truth. "The reason I came into this forest is because I took a quest from a team made up entirely of elves that they posted, and the content of the quest is to find an elf named Victoria. Are you sure that's the name?" Victoria nodded her head like crazy. Seeing that, you glanced at Victoria calmly. "You can stay here. No goblins should come in here." After saying that, you left the room. "Are those elves looking for Mom? Are they Mom's friends? If I tell Mom about this, she'll definitely be super happy." Right as you walked out of the cave, you ran into those that clashed with Cheer, the goblin earlier today. They were all low-level goblins. The leading goblin, Boo, spoke first when he saw you. "Our honored guest, it's so late. Where are you heading?" Goblin Boo walked towards you with a smile. He tried to pat your shoulder, but you dodged. Seeing this, he couldn't help frowning. He thought you looked down on him and immediately clenched his fists. But he still forced down the anger in his heart and invited you, "Where are you going?" "We're just about to go out hunting. Want to come with us? I'm super strong, you know." After he said that, the shadow under Goblin Boo started twisting, and then it actually stood up from the ground. He was proudly showing off the skill he got recently. How is it? My shadow can hide inside other shadows, you know." He had no idea his cocky behavior was about to get him killed. You glanced at Goblin Boo, then looked at the low-level goblins behind him, and immediately made a decision. Killing all of them would be a waste of time. So you ignored Goblin Boo and walked straight past him. The ignored Goblin Boo stared at you viciously, but he still followed you flatteringly. "Wait, how about we go together? You don't know, there are a lot of adventurers outside right now." You ignored him this time too, and let the goblins follow you around. They can even be used as human shields. Goblin Boo chattered nonstop the whole way. It wasn't until you'd left the goblin nest, for quite a distance, that he finally showed his true colors. Seeing that the time and place were right, Goblin Boo signaled to the goblins next to him with his eyes. After finding the right opportunity, he shouted, "Let's get this brat who dared to steal our woman. Let's show you what we've got." The next second, the goblin next to you suddenly snaps and lunges straight at you. Little do they know all their petty tricks along the way have already been fully noticed by you. In just a split second, you take down the goblin in front of you. You rush right up to Goblin Boo. Goblin Boo is shocked out of his wits. He never expected you to be this tough. Looks like he made a wrong judgment, but he still has a trump card up his sleeve. "You want to kill me? You're still too green for that." Goblin Boo's shadow, which had been hiding in your shadow all along, suddenly pops up from behind you. A pitch-black greatsword is already aimed at your neck. At this distance, even a high-level growth stage goblin can't possibly dodge this. But the second the greatsword swings down, your body turns jet black. You turn almost entirely into a shadow and actually passes straight through the greatsword. Goblin Boo is stunned. Without hesitation, he immediately summons his shadow in front of him to block. But it's already too late. You reappear right past the shadow, right in front of Goblin Boo, with a dagger pressed to his neck. A few seconds later, the system notification rings. "Congratulations, you killed a goblin. You obtained the skill Shadow Clone and 1 strength point." As Goblin Boo's head falls to the ground, All the other goblins finally realize what happened. You actually took out Goblin Boo just like that, and in the blink of an eye, too. They play the victim first. You despicable goblin! How dare you hurt your own kind? Everyone, charge. Facing the charging goblins, you look completely calm. You already got the skill you wanted. No need to stick around and play with them. Right at this moment, an adventurer's voice rings out. There are goblins here. One day you're patrolling with a group of low-level goblins when a team of adventurers suddenly charges at you. You leave the scene immediately when you see this. The nearby low-level goblins call you a loser. You run the second you see humans. As they say that, they launch an attack on the humans. The two sides break out into a fierce fight. Your side puts up a stubborn fight with your numerical advantage. An archer named Arnar sees you run away and chases after you right away. You see he's alone, so you intentionally slow down to lure him deep into the dense forest. Come out right now. Let me kill you nicely, will ya? You want to kill me? You suddenly appear from behind him, giving him a huge scare. He looks completely shocked. This goblin can actually speak human language. Could this goblin be a superior species? But it doesn't have the aura of a superior species. Could this goblin be some kind of special variant? After sorting out his thoughts, Arnar forces himself to stay calm and replies, "Of course. Killing monsters is literally our job as adventurers." You don't reply. You just stare at him intently. Your stare makes him really uneasy. He can't help but take a step back. But what you say next? You suddenly say, "I can see it in your eyes. There's no killing intent in there, so I'm not gonna kill you." You turn around and leave right after saying that, leaving Arnar standing there frozen in shock. You head back to the main goblin force. By this time, most of the adventurers and low-level goblins are injured on the ground. Only a great sword-wielding warrior named Del and one goblin are still standing. The goblin roars loudly. Lightning crackles all over his palm. However, right as Del and the goblin are about to attack each other, an arrow cuts through the air and hits the goblin right in the heart. Everyone is completely shocked. A familiar system notification rings in your ears. Congratulations, you have killed a goblin. You obtained the goblin skill Lightning Strike. Right as you put away your bow and get ready to leave, an angry yell suddenly rings out. Found you here! Right after that, a sharp throwing knife cuts through the air. You dodge quickly and jump down from the tree, moving to a new spot immediately. But you quickly realize a strong killing intent has locked onto you. Your gaze turns sharp. You move instantly and clash with the incoming figure. Del is hit by your strike and goes flying backwards, slamming hard into a big tree. He stares at you in disbelief and realizes you really are different from other goblins. You have the iconic green skin and pointy ears, but your face looks almost exactly like a human's. After seeing your incredible strength, the other team members yell for their captain to run, but Del struggles to his feet and says with a firm, determined look in his eyes, "I will never abandon my teammates," he finished. He raises his sword again and charges at you. You just slowly lift your hand and easily catch Del's sword between your fingers. How is that possible? You see murderous intent in Del's eyes. Then there's no need to hold back. You kick Del hard right in the stomach. He gets sent flying immediately and spits out a mouthful of blood, then collapses completely. You stare coldly at the dying Del. A surge of murderous impulse rises in your chest, but your mother's teachings suddenly echo in your mind. Right at this moment, Del suddenly yells, "You evil goblins!" Just you wait. The Adventurers Guild has had their eyes on you for ages. We will wipe every last one of you out. After hearing this, the dagger in your hand trembles slightly. You lift your head to look at Del and ask, "You're gonna kill all the goblins?" "That's right. We're also gonna rescue all the innocent people you locked up." "In that case, you guys better work hard for that. If you can't keep your word, I'll come back and kill you." With that, you put away your dagger and turn to leave. Watching your back as you leave, Del's jaw drops. He never thought he'd be spared when he was this close to death. He yells after you in confusion. "What the hell do you want? Do you feel sorry for me or something? Let me tell you, I will definitely kill all of you." "You damn goblins! You better watch your backs. Among us goblins, there's someone super powerful." With that, you completely disappear from everyone's sight, leaving Del standing there dumbfounded, staring at the direction you left, lost in thought. That goblin feels so off. Is he provoking us or what? Damn it! Del is seething with resentment. He never thought that one day he'd be spared by a low-level monster like a goblin. This is a straight-up insult to him. He swears he'll get his revenge hard. Meanwhile, on the other side, you were just heading back to the nest when you spot a dying goblin knight. and immediately realize something's wrong. You fought this goblin knight before. Even you couldn't beat him. What kind of enemy could possibly kill him? You look around and see no signs of a fight. That means the goblin knight escaped here. Just as you're about to leave, the goblin knight on the ground suddenly grabs your ankle. They're all dead. Please, you have to take this to the goblin general. You curiously take the crystal from the goblin's hand. Right then, an arrow comes flying through the air. Luckily, you're quick and jump out of the way in time. Not far away, a pointy-eared elf sees this and frowns. That goblin actually got away. What's more, that guy has a familiar aura on him. You run as fast as you can the whole way and finally make it back to the goblin nest. You're just about to step inside when you get a weird feeling and turn to look at the dark forest. You can't help but frown. Was that just my imagination? You don't think too much of it and head into the goblin nest. But as soon as you get to the entrance of the second underground floor, a huge figure blocks your path. Move! The goblin general raises an eyebrow. You seem to have something you forgot to give me. You frown slightly as you realize what he's talking about. You take a crystal out of your pocket and hand it to the goblin general. The general takes the memory crystal and immediately pours magic power into it. The next second, faint ripples appear in the surrounding air. Then a blue screen-like surface appears. The screen shows a valley. There's a small hut in the center. Inside the hut is an altar made of piled-up bones. Outside the altar is a magic circle drawn with flowing blood. After seeing the scene on the screen, the goblin general shows a rare look of disgust. I can't believe those scumbags from the Gate of Truth came here too. Gate of Truth. Yep, they're a bunch of people who claim to pursue truth, sacrifice souls to evil gods, to get power, disgusting pests. These cults' sacrifices and massacres aren't only targeting humans. Anything with blood and bones is on their hit list. That's why every race hates these guys. You nod to show you're not interested, and just turn around to leave. Was stopped by the goblin general right away. Did I say you can leave? Didn't I tell you before? You have to come see me every day from now on. Why should I listen to you? 'Cause I'll teach you fighting skills. It's for your own good. I said I don't need your teaching. Looking at how stubborn you are, the goblin general has a huge headache. Suddenly, the goblin general remembers what the goblin shaman said. He suddenly changes his tune, saying, if you can hurt me, this is yours. The goblin general spreads his hand. There are a few seeds that were meant for Elena. Almost instantly, you vanish from where you stood. The goblin general smiles approvingly. He's totally impressed by your speed, as a silver flash zips by. The seeds in his hand are long gone, replaced by a faint scratch on his hand. The cut isn't deep, but it gives off a weird vibe, like some strange power is surging inside it quietly. The goblin general looks down at the cut on his hand. A smile tugs at his lips. You've grown again. And that talent of yours, you really deserve to be the king. The goblin general mumbles to himself. There's a determined glint in his eyes. Right at this moment, the goblin general suddenly spits out a mouthful of 1982 Lafitte. His face turns deathly pale right away. His body starts to sway unsteadily. The goblin general wipes the blood off the corner of his mouth. A flash of resolve crosses his eyes. He knows he can't collapse like this. He has more important things to do. It looks like you successfully took the seeds he was clutching, but not long after you leave, you spit out a mouthful of blood too. You lean weakly against the wall. You open your palm, looking at the 3 glowing seeds. You crack a small smile. Mom, you'll definitely be happy about this. After a short rest, you get ready to go back to your nest. But as soon as you stand up, your body lurches forward out of control and falls into a warm, soft embrace. You look up. It's Elena again. Oh gosh, what happened to you this time? Elena holds you gently in her arms. You struggle to get up, but she holds you down firmly. Her huge chest almost suffocates you. Luckily, Elena notices right away. She sits you up to rest against the wall, then asks worriedly, "Are you okay?" You force a smile and say, "I'm fine. Just a little dizzy." Seeing you're okay, Elena breathes a sigh of relief. She takes out bandages and medicine skillfully and starts bandaging you up. "You're really strong," you say suddenly, making Elena pause what she's doing. She asks quickly, "Why do you say that?" "I was okay before. Not so much now." "Really? You're stronger than that guy." "Is that my imagination? What, you want me to kill him?" "No, I'll kill him with my own hands." Hearing you say you want to kill Xiao Tian, a flicker of sadness crosses Elena's eyes. She hesitates for a second, then asks, "Do you hate him that much?" "What's hate?" "I don't know." "Then why do you want to kill him?" You shake your head blankly again. if you want to kill him, you'll have to work a lot harder. He's really strong. Way stronger than me, at least. At this point, Elena zones out, staring at the moonlight on the wall. Suddenly, a few books fall out of her sleeve. You look down. How Mom is Made. How to Be a Qualified Mom. Halfway through reading, Elena snatches the book away. Her face is bright red. She deliberately avoids your gaze. Do you have kids? I don't have kids. Then why are you reading this kind of book? I want to be a qualified mom. When she says this, Elena finally dares to look you in the eye. Then she asks seriously, will you be my child? So I get the chance to be a good mom. No, Qingfeng already has his own mom. If you want a kid, miss, you can have one of your own. Rejected, Elena lowers her head sadly. It seems like she has something hard to say. You notice your body is fully recovered. You stand up right away, jump up and down twice. You feel great. So you say goodbye to Elena. All right, I'll head out now. Elena looks at you gently. She nods and watches your retreating back. There's a strange emotion swirling in her eyes. She can't help but rest a hand on her stomach. Her face grows gloomier and gloomier. I will never forgive those people who took away my right to be a mother. On the other side, you head back to the lair. You just open the door. A figure comes lunging right at you. You react in an instant, right when you're about to raise your dagger. That familiar scent makes you drop your guard immediately. Qingfeng, you're finally back! Let Mom take a good look at you. You're hurt. How did that happen? You tell her all about the spar with General Goblin, from start to finish. This makes Victoria even more certain that General Goblin is training his child. As a future heir, that's a good thing for you. After all, in this world, power is everything. You suddenly remember the gift you prepared for Mom. You pull a few seeds out of your pocket and hand them to her. These are moon lotus seeds. Mom is really surprised. How did you get your hands on such rare seeds? But you have no idea what this flower is at all. You just tilt your head and look at Mom with a confused face. Moon lotus is a very beautiful flower. Legend says its petals carry a hint of luck. It's a flower blessed by the goddess of luck. Do you want to see it, Qingfeng? I do. But it takes forever to grow, right? It won't take long. We just need the pixies to pitch in a little. Victoria buries the seeds in the soil. Then she closes her eyes and rests her hands on her chest, as if she's praying for something. Oh dear pixies, please listen to my request. Awaken and grow the sleeping life buried in the soil. As soon as her chanting stops, the originally dim room suddenly lights up. Little specks of starlight gather from all directions and spin around Victoria's body. Before long, those seeds that were just buried in the soil start to sprout new buds and grow tender green leaves. Then tiny little flower buds gradually emerge surrounded by the leaves. Finally, with the pixies' hard work, clusters of beautiful moon lotuses bloom with their own light in the dim lair. Seeing this magical scene, you squeal with excitement. How is it? Is it pretty? It's so pretty, Mom. You're literally the best. All right then, Qingfeng. Do you want to learn how to do this? I do, but can I really learn it? Qingfeng has my blood, so you definitely can learn it. Because what I'm teaching you isn't magic. It's elf warlock craft. It's a kind of special craft that only some elves can use. Victoria looks at the little specks of starlight swirling around you, covers her mouth with her hand, and looks completely shocked. She never thought the pixies would like her child so much. Even though he's a goblin, you say excitedly too. I'm just like Mom now? Victoria pats your head, with a relieved smile on her face. My kid is really so talented. You revel in the long-lost gentle touch from your mom. A wave of unspeakable peace and happiness rises in your heart, but this quiet moment doesn't last long. A strange aura quietly creeps in. You notice the change around you immediately. You quickly pull out the small knife at your waist and throw it at the dark corner. Then a dark figure flashes out from the corner. Whoa, is this how you welcome guests? As soon as that voice rings out, a seductive figure slowly walks out of the darkness. She wears a long black dress that hugs her slim waist. Her long black hair flows down her back. A thin veil covers most of her face, revealing her charming eyes that seem to see through everything. You're from the demon clan. I never thought there would be a pure-blood elf in a place like this. You really see everything when you live long enough. A pure-blood elf got captured. If those self-proclaimed noble elf nobles find out about this, who knows what those old farts will think? What the hell are you doing here? Before she can answer, you've already flashed behind her in an instant. You just raise your dagger to strike, when she lifts her hand and blocks it with her long scythe. Then a terrifying force hits you, and you're sent flying straight away. It's obvious you're no match for this person. Before this, you would have run away without hesitation, but now you have Mom behind you to protect. So you take a step forward, Not bad, you dare step forward even if you can't beat me. Let's test how strong you really are. With that said, Morika swings her scythe and slashes straight at you. This slash is powerful enough to kill you instantly. All of a sudden, Victoria shouts, "Don't hurt my child." The next second, faint light spots appear around Victoria's body. Countless green vines burst out of the ground like living creatures. They spread out rapidly. They wrap tightly around Morika's hands and feet. When Morika sees this, she swings the scythe in her hand and cuts through the vines easily. But the vines don't die just like that. They quickly repair the broken parts and grow even thicker instead. When Morika sees this scene, a little panic finally shows on her face. This is an elf warlock. So what though? With a loud booming noise, huge magic power bursts out from Morika's body. She only swings her scythe once, and the thick vines are torn apart right away. But you've already run away with your mom. Panicked. Let go of me. If you take me with you, you will get caught. No, we have to leave. Together. You stare at the suddenly intruding succubus. Morika. You pull your mom behind you. Your eyes are full of wariness. Morika sneers instead. You're such a weird goblin. Goblins don't even have the concept of mothers, right? Why do you protect your so-called mother? Morika gives you a meaningful smile. She even does it on purpose in front of Victoria, and winks at you openly. But you don't fall for her charm. Instead, you slowly put down your mom and get into a fighting stance. You sneak behind Morika quietly and strike a fatal blow at her neck. But you are blocked by a scythe that appears out of nowhere. The impact sends you flying straight out. You're about to hit the hard wall. Suddenly a pleasant singing voice rings out. An amazing scene happens. A huge dandelion suddenly pops out of the ground. It catches you smoothly and puts you down slowly. It's useless. Is that all the strength you have? Morika laughs triumphantly. But just when she's getting carried away, she suddenly spits out a mouthful of blood. She looks down. A dark shadow holding the dagger you dropped is standing behind her. It stabbed the dagger through her body at some point. There's no trace of magic at all. No chant either. This is a skill. Interesting, but honey, you've pissed me off, Morika mumbles to herself. Suddenly, an unprecedentedly strong magic power bursts out violently from her body. Right after that, Morika's body starts to have strange changes. Her wounds heal at a speed visible to the naked eye. She slowly raises her hand. An even more terrifying magic power starts gathering in her hand. In front of absolute power, all tricks and skills are useless. So go to hell. Morika throws a fireball at you. You have no time to run away at all. Your mom holds you tightly in her arms. She summons countless vines from the ground to shield both of you inside, but these vines are like moths to a flame in front of the fireball. They get lit on fire very quickly, but the fireball is already coming straight at you. Am I gonna die just like this? That's boring. Wait. No, when the dust clears, Morika senses something wrong. Rows of neatly lined goblin knights are standing in front of you. They use their own bodies to block that terrifying magic attack. And the person leading the team is exactly the goblin knight you almost killed before. Ma says, "You want to kill our goblins." Did you ever ask us first? You think you guys can stop me. We're not only going to stop you, we're also going to kill you. Killing you would be such a waste. Then all the goblins look at Morika evilly. You think you can do that with just your lot. With that said, she slowly raises her hand. A strong magic power bursts out from her body. Goddess of war and fire, listen to the request of your loyal believer. Send down flames and blaze. Burn your enemies to ashes. As soon as she finishes speaking, clusters of flames appear behind Morika. They fly towards the goblin knights like meteors, but facing the burning hot fireballs. The goblin knights burst out laughing. They don't retreat. They charge forward instead. They ignore the flames and rush straight over. The fireballs hit them but do no damage at all. Useless magic stuff is nothing to us goblin knights. He doesn't even finish his sentence. A bloody line suddenly appeared on the neck. Morika waved the black sickle in her hand with a smile, taking lives one by one. Goblins, you guys are so fragile, huh? Seeing two brothers die right in front of their eyes. The goblin knight looked ferocious. Rage kept surging in his chest. Immediately ordered, "Kill her for me." A seductive laugh echoed through the goblin lair. Waves of goblin knights charged forward bravely, but their lives were easily taken by her. Morika walked towards you holding the sickle. To protect you, the goblin knight roared and rushed forward to block the enemy's path. At this moment, they feared no death at all. Even Victoria, who always hated goblins, was shocked by this scene. She never expected these goblins would risk their lives to protect her child. But you didn't care at all. You kept pulling your mom's arm. Mom, let's hurry up and go. Qingfeng, they are all protecting you, and giving their lives for this. Really? They are all protecting me. Why? Did I do or say anything to make them protect me? You were a cold-blooded killer in your past life. You don't understand what protection means at all. But Victoria knew. It's wrong to let you stay this cold-blooded. You can't survive alone in this world. You need companions, friends, even lovers. Seeing Mom not moving at all, you just picked Mom up in your arms. These goblin knights really aren't afraid of death. Over here, Marika noticed. These goblins would willingly die for a low-level goblin, over and over again, which made her even more curious about your identity. She unconsciously sped up her steps forward, facing the endless stream of goblins. She simply swung her sickle in a circle and used the skill Death Waltz. A dark circular blade aura centered on Marika spread out in all directions. Anything that touched the dark blade light was cut apart and died quickly. You sensed something was wrong, immediately pulled your mom down to dodge the attack. But when you looked back, countless goblin knights standing behind had fallen. Marika walked slowly, stepping on goblin corpses. All right, my little goblin.
Are you ready?
You activated the shadow stealth skill and appeared in front of Marika instantly. Even though she reacted very fast, the dagger still scratched her face. You little brat! Don't you know a woman's face is her second life? Marika was furious. Swung her sickle straight at you. You were about to dodge, but found your feet couldn't move at all. You looked down. The blood on the ground seemed to be alive and wrapped around your feet tightly. It's useless. You can't run away. Just when you thought you were going to die, a dark figure suddenly appeared in front of you and blocked the fatal blow. It was actually Goblin Knight Moo. How could this be? Why? Goblin Knight Moo spat out a mouthful of blood. Goblin Knight Moo chuckled softly, squeezed out his last word, good. As soon as he finished speaking, Victoria picked up the dazed you and left quickly. Seeing you had gone far away, Goblin Knight Moo had a sudden burst of last strength and roared loudly. All his muscles swelled up wildly. Come on, I will never let you pass. Interesting, but I don't have time to play with you. Do you think you can stop me? As soon as the words fell, the dark sickle clashed with the long sword. The resulting storm swept across the entire place. Mom, why did that guy block that blow for me? Because he was protecting you. Why would he protect me? He even tried to catch Mom before and wanted to kill me. I almost killed him too. No matter if it's human, goblin, or elf, they can all change. You need to think about this yourself. Why did he protect you? Does he have some kind of purpose? Will it bring any effect to you? Mom hopes that one day Qingfeng can follow his own will to save the people he wants to save. Be it goblin or elf, anyone is fine. You were very confused. In your mind, there was only killing. No saving. As for saving Mom, it was purely out of instinct, so you could only nod ignorantly. Then Victoria hugged you tightly. Qingfeng added, remember, no matter what you do, or whatever you get involved in, your top priority is always keeping yourself alive. If anything risks your safety, you can just ignore it completely. Right after you finish speaking, a powerful impact suddenly hits. That terrifying force sends the fleeing Victoria flying right away. Mom shields you with her body against the wall, but then she slams hard into the wall and passes out cold. Seeing your mom lying on the ground, you shakily reach out and shake her arm. No, Mom, are you okay? When she doesn't respond at all, a terrible thought crosses your mind. An unspeakable rage surges up inside you. At this moment, Malika has no idea how much trouble she's caused. Oh, did you really think you could escape? This woman actually thinks she's a goblin's mom. She even sacrificed herself to protect a goblin. That's the wildest thing I've ever seen. Malika covers her mouth and doubles over laughing. Right after she says that, you charge straight at her. Your dagger clashes against her scythe. The system immediately sends an alert. You have activated Limit Break. Your stats will, for a short period, receive a massive boost. You grit your teeth in fury, staring at the person who hurt your mom. Only one thought fills your head. I will kill you. I will never forgive her. Malika is shocked by your strength again. A growth stage goblin actually has this much power and speed. That's practically a miracle. But then she chuckles softly and exerts a little more force. An overwhelming force travels through the scythe, sending you flying in an instant. This little strength is way too weak for me. Almost at the same time, you adjust your posture midair. In the blink of an eye, you vanish right in front of Malika. When you reappear, you're right in Malika's blind spot behind her, aiming straight for her head. Malika senses the attack and raises her scythe to block it. When you disappear again, Malika looks around frantically, blocking right as you appear each time. After a few rounds of this, Molika frowned slightly. She never expected. Your stealth skills would be this impressive. She quickly loses her patience and snarls, "Damned brat! Knock it off already." Molika is furious now. Her magic power erupts from her body. She tries to sense your location with the spreading magic, but it doesn't work at all. Molika's face pales in shock. This little guy in front of her can actually stay calm even when he's furious, using superb skills to stall her. That's absolutely terrifying. A drop of cold sweat runs down Molika's forehead at the thought. She raises her hand and creates a ball of light that illuminates the entire lair, hoping to find your trace this way. Meanwhile, urged on by Goblin Knight Moo, the group of goblins rushing over just arrive at the lair when they see a blinding light up ahead. Everyone stops in their tracks, staring at the scene in front of them in shock. You're darting through the dark, dim corners, moving at a speed they can't comprehend, attacking Molika's blind spots. This is absolutely incredible. Seeing this, all the goblin knights present no longer look down on this tiny, low-rank goblin. They even feel admiration, respect, and awe towards you. Molika is already cornered by you at this point. Her body is covered in tiny cut marks. The cuts aren't the worst part. The problem is the mysterious toxin slowly seeping into her body. Not even antidote magic works on it. If this keeps going, she'll get worn down and die. At this moment, Molika completely loses it. Fine then. If I can't find you, I'll just destroy everything. It's obvious she wants to take everyone down with her. She releases a fireball multiple times bigger than the last ones, planning to destroy the entire lair. You sense something is wrong at this point, and try to find a weakness on Molika's body to stop her from casting the spell. At the critical moment, a majestic voice rings out. "Since when do bugs dare to trespass on my turf?" The Goblin General narrows his eyes slightly and raises an eyebrow. He yelled at the Goblin Knights in the distance. "It's just a clone. You've been fighting this long, and so many of you got killed." The goblins heard the general's words. The Goblin Knights were shocked. That female who slaughtered hundreds of their kin was actually just a clone. Then how strong is her real form? The Goblin Knights hung their heads in shame. Wait, that can't be right. A clone can't last this long, and clones don't bleed at all. Don't use your pathetic little knowledge to dismiss things you don't understand. But I didn't expect some goblin would figure that out. You know quite a lot, huh? Looks like you've been to the human world. Just a clone. Sure talks a lot. Are you stalling for time before you die? I'm also a parallel entity. If a clone dies, the original body will take heavy damage too. Damn it, you know quite a lot. But even if I'm just a clone, it's more than enough to kill all of you. As soon as she finished speaking, Marika held her black scythe and charged at the Goblin General. Seeing this, the Goblin General flickered a look of disdain in his eyes. He didn't move an inch and only lifted his huge palm. It was like a huge mountain, steadily blocking Marika's attack. How is this possible? Such insane strength. Is this even a goblin as I know? Damn it, that's all you got. How dare you look down on me? Marika was furious, and her magic power exploded all over her body. Then her scythe emitted waves of black gas that turned into several dark long snakes. They coiled up towards the Goblin General's hand. Seeing this, the Goblin General snorted coldly. Then a deafening loud bang rang out, knocking Marika flying away instantly. Marika spat out blood, obviously seriously injured. She fell to the ground, knowing she was dying and couldn't escape. So she gathered all her magic power inside her body, compressed it, and was about to detonate it. What a maniac. General Serblin was just about to make a move. You appeared in front of Morisa out of nowhere. He was just about to say something when your dagger sliced his throat, shutting him up for good. Congratulations, you killed a demon parallel entity. You obtained one of his talents, manipulation. You were already blinded by rage and didn't stop torturing Marika until the Goblin General beside couldn't stand it anymore and grabbed your wrist. Enough, that elf is still alive. If you keep doing this, I can't guarantee she'll stay that way. You calmed down immediately after hearing that and ran to your mother. You shook her arm gently. Mom, wake up. Xinfeng already killed that bad guy. Suddenly, you remembered the healing magic your mom used on you before and started copying what she did back then. You called out to the tiny sprites that appeared then. Little specks of starlight appeared, floating around you. All the surrounding goblins were stunned. Elves that can cast elven warlock magic are already rare among elves. Not to mention you're a goblin, even the Goblin General was slightly taken aback. Seeing you were about to cast elven warlock magic, the Goblin General gave a quick look, and the Goblin Knights immediately took the other goblins away. As the spell activated, A soft white light suddenly lit up all around.